Much for getting a good jump tonight, eh, boys?
Mm. Yep. Not going to talk about it till we're on. Glasses or no glasses? No glasses. Sorry.
Game on, fellas!
Hey, game on, Durst. Game on, Chris. Grab the nets, boys. Throw the sticks in the middle. Because here we are, straight off the pipe for another post game, Minnesota edition. It's not the greatest of results, but here we are to talk about it anyways. Good evening to you, Mike Dursa.
Good evening. That was a tough one.
That was a tough one, I agree. Inside joke going on right now. And sorry, I'll get this back on the tracks. And a friend of the show we have with us, I'd like to welcome back. He's a bloke, he's an Oakland, but most importantly tonight, he's a diehard Oilers fan. Chris Bloke Franklin, nice to have you back on the show tonight. How are you, man?
Dash, I'm very well, apart from the horrible game I just illegally streamed.
Yes. I streamed it legally and was equally disappointed. But thanks for coming on again. It's going to be fun. Well, let's start with some positives. Tyler Benson scores his first NHL goal. His celly almost made my day. That might have been good enough for me right there, to be honest. Evander Kane scores again. Did it on the power play again. We know Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson are human and aren't invincible, so that's probably a good thing. Hyman keeps the heater going. Boy, he's sure come as advertised. But on the negative side, guys, man, Mike Smith lets in the first goal for the 7th time in 8 games. He goes down. I believe in every case, those first 2 goals were scored in the first 6 shots. Smith's been a bit of a drop kick lately, but given that, you can't solely blame the goaltending tonight. This was a game of discombobulated symphony of mistakes, in my opinion. It just was slop. It was not a well executed game of hockey. What do you think, Durs?
I thought the first 10 minutes were pretty ugly hockey. I wouldn't put it all on goaltending, but getting some saves would have been nice. Some, really bad giveaways, breaks in coverage again, and
from everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a bit of a pass because they played a lot of hockey in the last week. But if they play that sort of game when they head into Florida, it's going to get even worse. So Jay definitely has some things he can show them in the next time they're on the ice. He's got some material now to work with for sure.
Well, they get to have a practice on Tuesday, so there's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel that they can work on some of this stuff because I tell you, the Wild had a piece of piss evening right from the get-go, didn't they, Chris?
Oh, yeah. The one positive is we've only got one game in the next 5 days instead of 7 in the last 5. So I expected the boys to get a little bit fatigued towards the end of the game. I didn't expect them to get fatigued in the first 10 minutes, though.
Man, they were fatigued coming out of the tunnel for warm-up, I think, guys. Like, this game reeked fatigue. I know the boys are tired, and this is probably not the team that they needed to face and the style of play that they needed to face, given the amount of hockey they've played recently. So I'm with Durst. I'm willing to give them a bit of a pass as well. But I don't know. What'd you think of the game overall, Chris? I know you were fired up before the show.
A few positives. A late consolation goal for Hyman, I thought was good. Bit of a breakaway there. So, yeah, that was nice. And I've always been, as you guys know, really down on Oilers fans who get online and bag the goalies and have a go at how bad the team's going when they're going bad.
Yeah.
And my favourite player is Mike Smith. So,
Yeah.
but it was glaringly obvious tonight, from my point of view, that how far behind we are the guys that we're going to be playing in the playoffs.
Smith's been a bit of a dropkick lately, has he not?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. He got his photo with me when I was over there, so I'm always a fan.
Hey, me too, man. And I love what Mike Smith brings to this game. Like, that guy battles, he has tangibles in the dressing room that I think aren't, as highly noted and maybe even respected as a lot of people think. I think we're just a better team when we have Mike Smith in the dressing room, let alone on the ice. But, I still think that criticism is to get too negative either, Bud, but I'm starting to feel like we've got a bit of a Mike Smith problem.
I don't think it's just a Mike Smith problem. I mean, he let 4 in early, but Mikko led another 3 in after that. So it's a goalie problem in general.
One of those nights.
Tried to do it, jumped on him after a loss. It was obvious to me.
What's your reaction to that, Mike?
Problem.
Well, I just think today, I mean, it's easy to point at the goalie and how many goals are behind him based on the shots, but the quality of the shots were, top notch. Chances from inside the slaughter.
It's a good team.
Inside the slaughter, deeper, and 2-on-1s and breakaways and. I don't know. There was you look at the shot total and it looks like we should have dominated the game. But then if you actually watched the game and looked at the quality of the shots, it wasn't good. I mean, I don't really care who's in net. It might not have been 4-0 early, but it would have still been 2-0. Just high danger. It just, I don't know. I don't think too many goalies are getting us out of that first period unscathed. It was not a good first 5 minutes of the game, and really, at times, it was not good. After that, I mean, Mikko seemed to have a problem with the 5-hole. Smith had problems with shots, low to either side, and Josh is saying every goal was scored into the same spot of the net. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but
the 6x4 area.
They'll be replacing the red light after tonight. I'm actually kind of surprised, Dash, that you're not pinning tonight's loss on Duncan Keith, but
I keep telling you guys this has been one of the best streaks of the season for him. I thought that the team's been excellent. With Duncan Keith the last 5 or 6 here. This was that could have been George Vezina or that could have been Chad Graham in net. It wouldn't have mattered, I don't think. Like, when you're playing hot potato out there like they were, it doesn't matter. Like they couldn't make a 5-foot pass, let alone a crossing pass, let alone a breakout pass. Like the mental just wasn't there. And I actually was traveling for a little bit in between periods, and I heard Rob Brown say that, he always found when he was fatigued that it wouldn't be his legs that would go first. It would be his brain that would go first. Like, you start to make those little simple mistakes and, the little small errors that in the NHL, you don't have room for error with that type of execution. So I don't know. Is that what you saw tonight too, Chris?
I noticed inside the blue line, we one pass too many times, and it was always to the wrong option. There was 3 or 4 times where the shot should have been put on, and it just wasn't another pass.
It almost looked a little bit more like Tippett hockey tonight, and I don't mean that to criticize him, but just in a way that they didn't feel confident with the puck, and they weren't really. I don't know. I just felt they really had a simple game the last 5 games, and maybe just it was such a clusterfuck. It couldn't be simple tonight, but it didn't look the same for me.
Ben Principe getting a haircut.
you know,
yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, there's a lot of word around the city here too.
Overpassing was one thing, but being able to connect on basic passes was another. They just looked out of sorts today.
I mean, the only pass that was connected was Dante Culpepper throwing for a touchdown to Randy Moss, and the Vikings going up 7-0 against the Oilers tonight. Our field goal didn't quite cut it. Yeah, I don't know. It's who is the best player for you tonight? I really liked Lagesson's game. Personally, I thought that he, was on the right side of the puck more often than not. Obviously, Hyman would be an easy pick in there too. Would you think, Chris?
Evander Kane played a good game.
Sorry? Yeah, for sure.
He's fitting in well with the team.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, his chemistry has been really nice. Yeah, he's just honestly like my off ice opinions aside, his on ice chemistry is just checked off every flipping box that this team needed, and it's already showing and paying off in spades. The guy's got 5 goals in 6 games. Who would have thought that? He hasn't played in the NHL in over a year, guys.
And it's only going to get better.
Yeah, for sure.
As you get to know the players,
it can only get better, right?
It's only going to get better.
Yeah. They wait till we get to the playoffs and he starts to really play like a prick. Who did you think the best Oiler was tonight, Durs?
Oh, Duncan Keith.
Is that the only button you've got to push? Be better.
I don't know, man.
Did he get another
Yeah, 36 saves again.
You
could have at least said Devon Shore for sakes.
He had a baby, so yeah, maybe he's the player of the game.
Hey, I like that. Congrats, Devon.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hard game to watch. I can't really say one person that had a really good game. I'll give it to Tyler Benson for getting his first. And
yeah, I figured you might go there. I was hoping you did, actually.
Kind of doing the ludicrous move, bitch, get out the way, Selly, after he scored there by pushing Kaprizov out of the way or whatever.
Which you got to think Minnesota probably thought was ridiculous, right? It's like 6-1. Hey, way to go, Rook.
Yeah.
But, like the kid's just been through so much, right? Like he's fought tooth and nail to play on this team. He's been one of the heart and soul Oilers for me this year, you guys. Like who's brought it game after game after game after game other than Tyler Benson? And there might be a few guys on that list, but he's got to be on the tops of everybody's, in my opinion. I think no matter where he's been slotted, no matter what position he's been given, he's excelled in what he's been asked to do. So, I said it earlier that Selly made my night. That's a long road through Edmonton minor hockey and Western Hockey League junior hockey to get to where he is and scoring 400 points a season to finally get his first NHL goal. So I'm glad you went there, Durs.
How about that sauce pass from McLeod to Hyman there? That was nifty.
Towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I didn't look. Did that count as a shorty or was it even strength?
Oh, I didn't see, actually. I didn't look.
According to the commentators, they never called it a shorty, so yeah, I think it was even strength.
Okay. And Tyler Benson had a 56% Corsi tonight. He's pushing the river. He's on the ice for four scoring chances. I like that game as well. Nice to see him get that goal, and it's kind of a little ironic that it finally comes when Jay Woodcroft's behind the bench. Anything you think Woodcroft could have done differently tonight, Chris?
No, I don't think so. Maybe strengthen the first line towards the end, like through Draisaitl back together with Connor and maybe Evander Kane and
who did he go to late there? He did go McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, maybe, I think, for a shift or two, but that's too late. I mean, it's a touchdown to a field goal. You can't, unless you can get a 3-point shot from the beyond the arc, we're pretty screwed there.
Yeah, at least out of this, Jay has worked out that this NHL coaching caper isn't as easy as he thought it was going to be, and he can see how bad we can go when we go bad.
Well, and maybe the Minnesota Wild are his kryptonite. Who knows? Perfect up until tonight.
They seem to be Rogers Place's kryptonite. I think they've won like 26 of the last 30 there or something. They've got a ridiculous amount of wins at Rogers Place. So, yeah, they've just got the win.
And if you peeled that back another 10 years, honest to Christ, you'd see how bad we have done against the Minnesota Wild over the years. Who is that goalie we couldn't beat from Minnesota forever and ever and ever, Durst? That rolled.
Well, they had Dubnyk before, right?
No, I mean like 10 years ago. That's all right. I'll look it up. What did you think of the coaching job tonight, Durst? Is there anything you would have changed lineup-wise or coaching-wise or otherwise?
I like the fact that Jay actually used a timeout when I think it was needed.
I saw you tweet that. What is this?
What is this madness, calling a timeout in the first period? Yeah. Don't you know you're supposed to save it till the last minute in the third when the game
or not use it at all?
Yeah, you got to stockpile them because you can bank them for later.
Yeah, well, Smith or somebody could throw off his helmet and get a free timeout every once in a while. But
the only change I would have liked to have seen is that 3-0 pull Smith. You know, why wait till it's 4-0? But I don't know. You could have got into a scenario where you're pulling him and putting him back in because Koskinen wasn't really much better. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, like we said earlier, I don't think it matters which goaltender was going to be in the net there.
No, there were some coverage issues, and goaltending wasn't lights out by any means. But when you're given that kind of quality of ice to NHL players that can shoot the puck, you're going to pay for it eventually. And tonight they certainly did. If they do the same thing, in Florida and Tampa Bay and Carolina, it's going to get late early, to quote Yogi Berra as well.
Nicholas Backstrom, by the way. Do you remember? We couldn't beat him in like 20 or 25 straight games back whenever the hell that was.
Jacques Lemaire.
Jacques Lemaire's Minnesota Wild. That is correct. Oui, monsieur. Oh, boy, that sun's shining behind you. What is the middle of the afternoon there, Chris?
It is. It is 3:15 a Monday afternoon here at the moment.
Well, good arrow, mate.
And I'm drunk and angry already because of the game.
Good arrow, mate. And he's drunk. Well, that's okay. Well, tell us about it. What pissed you off the most? On a scale of stoked to crack the shits, what do you reckon on this one?
I was just angry from the 4-0 down at the start. I was angry at the end of the second period when there were 6 goals from 17 shots.
Yeah. This thing was over after 6 minutes, right?
Yeah. It was just a waste of 3 hours watching. I'll always watch, but I know when from the Tippett days, I've seen games go like this, and I know I'm in for an uncomfortable 3 hours.
Yeah, my better half was getting a later start on the game, and every ounce of me wanted to tell her to not bother even starting watching the game if she didn't want to waste 3 hours of her night. But knowing she's a diehard like me, I know she'd still watch anyways, and she didn't have to wait long to get that result anyways, 6 minutes into the game and down 3-0.
Yeah.
Whoa, looking ahead, not an ideal schedule coming up, I wouldn't say. It's not going to get any easier from here on out. Any thoughts on what we're going to have to do to be successful going into the state of Florida, Durst?
Durst, okay.
Oh, no, actually, okay, go ahead, Chris.
I really don't know. We've got the current champions next game in Florida, and no, I don't know. I'd rather look at the last week rather than the next week. As a we're 4-1 for the last 7 days.
Yeah. The next 3 will be tough for sure. Then maybe a little bit of a 9. I think we're already in playoff mode here, boys. I don't think there's really any letting up, but I don't think there's easy, no free spaces on the bingo cards anymore, but Philadelphia, Chicago, Montreal, the 3 games after that. Then they got to put on their big boy pants to play Calgary and Washington and Tampa again. And then they go after Detroit, Buffalo, New Jersey. So, there's a bit of a maybe 3 games where they can breathe, 3 games where they can't, 3 games where they can breathe again, 3 games where they can't. Now, I don't know if that's how Woodcroft will break it up in 3-game chunks, but as a fan, I think that's how I'm going to break it up. I'm curious how they'll do in this little swing here. Any comments on that?
It seems to be when they get about 10 minutes of hockey where they don't get scored on in that first period, they seem to fare all right. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, is to survive the first 10 minutes in Tampa Bay, and that if you do that, I think you'll be off to a good road trip. But that's a big if. You gotta start on time down there and not be trailing earlier, or they're a good team and they'll take it to you.
Well, it's a big if given what we've done this season and that we can't score the first goal if we had a gun to our head. But at the end of the day, that's not that big of an if, Durs. It's really not. Like, what do we need to do? Survive 10, 20 minutes of hockey and keep your head above water for 15 minutes. That's all we got to do, because they'll get confidence from there. If you can hang in there against the Tampa Bay Lightning for the first 10, 15 minutes, you don't get scored on first, your goalie makes a couple of good saves, well, all of a sudden, things might start to roll. And I think you made a great point there, Durst. You pull off the first game. Look at period by period. Win the first period against Tampa. Score the first goal. Go out, win that game. And then you're looking at, Florida and Carolina with a little bit more confidence. Because, look, we just knocked off the Stanley Cup champions. Right, Chris?
Oh, for sure. Am I stupid to think maybe bring Stuart Skinner back out? He's had a shutout in his last game.
40 saves, I think he had, or something like that. Has he lost a game in the AHL this year?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if he has. If he has, it's maybe 1, but I'll double check that too.
Maybe in that middle run just before Dave Tippett got asked to leave.
Yeah, that could be true. Yeah, I think he's 11-1 or something, or 11-0-1 or something in the 11-1-1 or something this year, which is, you're dominating the AHL. There's no reason you shouldn't have your shot in the NHL, and the NHL goalies that the Oilers have right now are certainly struggling. So I don't mind that recommendation at all. I don't know. Is that a justified opinion, Durst? You think that we could bring up Skinner for another run, or you think Woodcroft wants to keep him down there?
I think the organization wants to keep him in the AHL, but I don't know if Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith are giving him much of a choice. I didn't see too much out of either one of them. Out of either one of them tonight that was, great, but also the rest of the team in front of them I don't think was great either. So then you go back to their last, few games, and I thought Mikko was pretty good in Winnipeg, and Smith has been treading water his last few starts, so I don't know. But, Skinner's last start as a Edmonton Oiler was a shutout, so I think the decision was made to send him down before even Woodcroft was hired. As soon as I got them healthy, that was going to be that, and that's what happened. But I'd like to see him back up and given a few more games, because he's he hasn't really played a stinker of a game. He's played some games that were so-so, but, he hasn't really shit the bed in a game. I don't know if I would call what Mike Smith did today shitting the bed, because I really don't think we were getting out of that first period any...
As a team lost.
Yeah, it was not a good start. And, I'll give him a pass. I don't like to build excuses, but I think there is fatigue there, and it showed.
I'd like to hear your views on that too, Chris. What do you think?
I would love to see Stuart Skinner get another chance. He's had the shutout. He's had very good success with the Oilers, and he is motivated because he wants to push for his spot in an NHL team. So, yeah, whether it's with the Oilers or if someone else wants to grab him, he wants to prove that he's an NHL goalie. So I think out of the 3 of them, he's the one that's keenest.
He's got to prove that he's an NHL goalie, buddy. That was amazing. That's exactly. You took it right off the tip of my tongue, because here's what I was going to ask you guys. Let me kind of pile on here a little bit and ask you both a question. Yes or no, both of you. We'll start with Chris. Do we know what we have in Stuart Skinner right now?
I don't think we do. And I think he wants to show us, but he's not getting the opportunities to.
I totally agree.
We go straight back to last game he played, a shutout.
I totally agree. Dursa, do we know what we have in Stuart Skinner right now?
No, he's not a finished product by any means.
So do we not need to know what we're going into with next season? Because there's a key part in this for me is that Stuart Skinner's contract is, as of next year, he has to pass through waivers to be sent down. So he's either got to be on the big club all year or he's got to be in the AL year, because they can't pass him back and forth, because that quality of a goaltender isn't going to pass through waivers, in my opinion. He'll get claimed. So I really strongly agree with Chris in the fact that I think we really have to know what we have in Stuart Skinner, because you can't gamble next year. We have Smith under contract. He's going to be here. So it's Smith and who? If it's Smith and Skinner, we can't send Skinner down. So is Skinner in the AL next year? And if that's the case, then maybe he stays in the A this whole season and all the next season too. Which maybe it's fair, maybe it isn't, but I don't know. I've been thinking about that, you guys. I think we're in a bit of a goaltending conundrum because of that. Mike?
I think Skinner has proven already that he'd be a capable backup goalie in the NHL. I think he proved that with what he's done so far. So I next year, I don't think you need to worry about Stuart Skinner, but I do think you need to worry about is Mike Smith capable to be a starting goaltender in the NHL next year? And I think the answer to that really is no. And I think the answer to that this season was probably we're gonna hope that he is, but I think it's been proven that his body just can't handle the rigors of an NHL season anymore. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I think that's what Ken Holland needs to think about long and hard this summer. And he needs
every time I try to say that saying, I pause because I don't want to George Bush it.
Mission accomplished. Yeah. No. I mean, he needs to upgrade the goaltending, and that's probably been evident since we lost to Chicago. And I thought Smith did pretty well last year against Winnipeg, probably as good as you could ask. And I think our depth kind of got exposed. But I mean, this season, to expect him to duplicate what he did last year, I think was putting all the cards on number 7 black, and it hasn't panned out.
Well, and did I or did I not say in our earlier episodes of the Straight Off the Pipe podcast, Mike Dursa, that Mike Smith was going to struggle this year? I said that the schedule he had last year, where he only traveled within Canada, he slept in his bed every night, they weren't staying in hotels, they had taxi squad goalies playing practice, he got to go to his kids' hockey games, he's got 3 boys in town, he helps coach, this isn't, I knew that this was going to be harder on him. I knew it. And everybody's like, oh, Mike Smith was amazing last year. And he really was. But there's a lot of things that went well for Mike Smith, and to be able to have the type of season he did last year. And so an extension was fine. A 2-year extension was a little baffling. Part of me wonders if he'll almost retire. He's got so much pride, right? Or, take some sort of role on in next season and not play goal. But, a guy with that much stubbornness and that much pride probably wants to prove that he can still play too. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting little circus to see what we do with the goaltending. Do you think, Chris, that Ken Holland is going to pull the trigger on a goaltender, or do you think that there's anything out there for us, or do you think we're just kind of going to have to keep our powder dry?
Is that to me or does?
Yeah, Chris, sorry.
Yeah, I think Mike Smith is all about the Oilers. I think he found an extra bit of confidence after that goal he fired a few years ago, and that's why he had such a good season last year. But I agree with you completely that it might be time for Mike, and Oilers fans have been screaming for Ken Holland to secure another goalie for the last couple of years. So
yeah.
I know there's a weird contract situation with Nico Koskinen, but I would like to see Skinner held on to and elevated, and he's just getting better with every game he plays as he's getting used to the speed of the shots that are coming at him, etc.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Skinner elevated and another goal come into the club. Yeah.
I think so too. I'd like to hear your views on that. Durst, what do you think, man? We're gonna just keep our powder dry, or as our good friend Alan Mitchell would say?
Yes, Mr. Lowtide. I really hope that something gets done on the goaltending front. It's nice to get some wins under a new coach and kind of get feeling better about ourselves again, and kind of smell the roses, hear the birds chirping and singing in the morning, and all of that. But come playoff time, if we don't improve our goaltending, it's it's going to be over before it even starts. So to me, that in the summer, that was the biggest area of concern that wasn't addressed. We just went kind of status quo. I don't think it's for a lack of trying. I know there were attempts made, but you're a GM. You're paid to have success and get the things that you need to get to improve your hockey club, and it hasn't happened yet, and it needs to happen. If you look at the team and you ask me what's the biggest area of concern, for me it's still goaltending. We could use probably another defenseman, although I like what I've seen out of Niemelainen since he's been recalled. That's a hard-nosed, take no prisoners, Jason Smith, Brian Marchment, Luke Richardson kind of throwback, as people are kind of saying. And I love it. I love to see a guy that punishes people. Yeah, he cross-checked a guy in the head, and I don't really love that, but
I do.
A mean, nasty guy that kind of clears the paint and the fun areas of the ice is exactly what this team needs. I don't.
You know what exactly this team needs is to throw a few more cross-checks to people's heads.
Well, I mean, you're getting a little bit of the nasty, pest kind of Matthew Tkachuk, Brad Marchand kind of game out of Vander Kane, and he's trying to drag these guys into fights sometimes. Tonight, I think him and Draisaitl, late in the third, kind of, didn't want to go down without a little bit of a fight. I would have liked to have seen what I saw from them in the first period to kind of drag them into the fight before the fight was already over. But yeah, I mean, a little bit of nasty for me is fine. I don't, I'm not a shrieking violet by any means. So I wasn't
shrieking or shrinking,
both. And I wasn't mad to see what he did, but I don't really condone cross-checking guys in the head. I think he's kind of helped, fix kind of that nasty that we've been asking for on the blue line. Does he stay in the lineup when Duncan Keith comes back? I sure hope so. I don't think we need to be running.
Duncan Keith's been out of the lineup?
Yeah, I don't think we need to be running 7D the whole season, but you know what? It's been okay. Give Connor McDavid some minutes with Tyler Benson, and it's fine. And
yeah, we've been clamoring for that for a while.
Yeah.
You know what? You're talking about sunshine and roses there. I really feel like you're misrepresenting Northern Alberta to our guest here, because it is a goddamn frozen tundra out there right now. It is windy. It is minus 30 some Celsius probably with the wind chill. And Chris has the sun shining in behind him 14,008 kilometers away. So I don't know. I don't think you're grabbing your budgie smugglers and running out to the beach anytime soon there, Durst, but
You want me to do the polar bear dive into the snowbank in the backyard?
Right now, yeah. Take the laptop with you. No, actually don't. That's a really expensive laptop.
Can I just say, I've driven from BC into Alberta through the Rockies, and there's a big sign there that says the welcome to Alberta, the home of the wild rose, is it? So the roses were fairly out. Yep.
Yeah, that's the other season. That 2 months of summer we have.
No,
we've got 2 seasons here: winter and summer.
Construction.
Winter and construction season. Winter is 10 months long, and construction season is 2 months long.
I got a question for both.
Go on, Bear, sorry.
I got a question for both of you. Bryce Workman saying on YouTube there, and thanks for the comments. And Josh from Tough Call's been chirping all night, but we're just gonna let him chirp. Bryce asks, if we win 2 out of the next 4 out of the tough teams, I will be happy with that. What do you guys think? Yeah, if they can go 500 kind of on this next road trip, I would call that a bit of a win myself. But
yeah, I would agree with that. I think you got to just try and get as many points as you can here and get back home and start playing against your own division that you're 16-5 against, or 15-6 against, or whatever their record is, and start piling up 3-point games.
Eternally the optimist, I'd say, imagine how happy he's going to be when we win 4 of the next 4.
Boom. Truth bombs. You might have cracked one too many beers, Chris.
Well, you know what? That turnaround on Saturday.
One too many tinnies.
That turnaround Saturday, Sunday, like the Panthers on Saturday afternoon game, and then the Carolina afternoon game. Back to back, that's going to be a test for these guys. They beat Winnipeg in a matinee, but they typically don't play very well in matinees. Although last year I think we had a good record.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we kind of flipped that around recently.
Yeah.
Any other listener comments or anything you want to jump at there? What's Josh beaking about? Or dare I ask?
He just earlier commented that every goal was scored into the same spot of the net. Yeah, the back of it.
Yeah, the 4x6 twine area, Josh. Same area.
And then he asked the question about Fogle, and I think that was his response to who he thought had a good game.
Yeah, I was there too.
Fogle caught one in the face in the second period there.
What's that, Chris?
Was it Fogle that got one in the face in the second period there?
Yeah.
Got a puck to the face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he split his lip a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I've been there. I took a skate to the mouth in senior hockey. Good times. A few stitches, yeah.
Jeez.
I've never even skated, let alone held a hockey stick.
Durst is also the only hockey player to ever take his skate off and try to stab somebody with it.
I knew I liked you.
Go figure.
That's where they got the idea for Happy Gilmore from.
Yeah. You are the model. You are the model. Oh, I don't know. Have we shrieked enough violets for one night, Durst? Or
let's talk about the last 4 games before this one.
Yeah,
we could do that.
Yeah, for sure. It's been interesting. They certainly have turned it around from the post tippet. 5-0 he started. Woodcroft as a coach. What did you think was the biggest difference in what you saw?
Just his confidence with the lines he built. The team wanting to prove to him that they were a better team than what the stats showed. I enjoyed the little bit of mongrel that Kane had in him. Do you use the word mongrel there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do now.
Everyone carrying on online about that so-called sucker punch. The only thing sucker punchy about it was that it was a sucker that he punched.
Yeah, exactly. Mongrel is what's on the back of Matthew Tkachuk's jersey. So, yeah, we use it around here a little bit.
Interesting stat. I don't know if you've got Dash for this week. Is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? I think it was against the Kings. He called the amount of games that the great one Gretzky played for the Oilers. So,
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And ironically, out of the stats for both players, they're the only numbers that line up.
Yeah. I love that. That's cool. I didn't realize that. That just goes to show you how long Nuge has been here, hey? He's I added it up actually. I don't know where that piece of paper is, but including all the assistant coaches he's had since he was drafted, I think he's had, and these are just bench coaches, but 18 different coaches, including assistants, since he was drafted in 10 years or whatever. That's just ridiculous. Like 9 head coaches in 10 years or something.
And they keep going the coach instead of the goalie. I don't know why. Have I still got you guys?
Yeah.
I think we're frozen. No, we're still there.
Yeah. I'm losing you a bit, but might be on my end.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Australia.
Oh.
No.
I still have you there, Chris. I don't know where.
Yeah, right. So I wrote that.
I don't know where Dash went, but Dash, let me know if you come back.
There we go.
We just punted Dash. I don't know if he left the building or what went on, but so what's the temperature like down there today for you?
Well, Melbourne's southern Australia, so it's late in summer. It's probably about 22, 23 today. Yep. It's a sunny day out in Melbourne. I live the Tasmania. I've been up here for 2 days. I came up to Melbourne to do a show on Saturday night, and I've got drunk and missed 2 planes home so far. So I'm flying home Tuesday.
Just got word from Dash via modern technology of a cell phone. His internet crashed. So it says, that's what you get when you're with Shaw, I guess. He says, well, fuck, no internet, it crashed. Shaw is out completely, no TV either. So, yeah, I guess.
This is considering he normally drives it, so we'll have to ask each other questions first.
Oh, man. So do you have a favorite moment of that California road trip with the games in LA and in San Jose?
I think about Evander Kane throwing that punch over the ref's shoulder to drop him in one punch. I thought that was quite good.
So he's become a fan favorite of yours by playing feisty then.
Well, he's sort of taken over where Zach Cassie and Zach dropped off. The last game Zach played, he got a little bit back, but ever since he hit his head on the ice, he hasn't been the aggressive player that he was. And it's good to see that Evander Kane's sort of stepping into those shoes and letting other teams know that we're not just going to be walked over.
Yeah, he drags them into the fight for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think of Woodcroft so far?
That's a hard one. Is that a cat?
Yeah, I got 2 cats that are ready to throw down against each other. They're just about ready to scrap. Yep.
Oh, good. You should turn the camera on then.
Yeah.
I think the team lifted for him more so than his coaching decisions, and he's learnt today that he's in the big time now. So I reckon he's going to have a long week working out what to do before the next game.
So everybody lost an ego is a YouTube handle, and they're saying don't be surprised if Samorukov gets another go. He has been real good down in the bake.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't going to get another shot if Tippett was still the coach, but maybe with Jay being the guy, he might get a recall. Although I don't know,
that's the beauty of. Sorry, Jay coming up. from down there, he knows all those guys.
Yeah.
He knows who's ready to step up. Yeah. Which is what surprised me about him sending Stuart Skinner back down. I know our two goalies were back and ready to go, but he knows Stuart Skinner better than anyone else.
I'm almost thinking that that decision was made before Jay even got here.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Just one sec. I think Michael, Oilerslive, wants to join us and probably ask you some stuff. I just got to send him kind of our link there.
Yeah.
Making me do all the technical stuff on the fly here tonight. Sharpening me up.
You normally do it behind the scenes when Dash is on camera. So.
Yeah. Michael's coming here.
Hello there.
We kind of mixed up the name bars here a little bit, but I can work on that. Hey, Mike.
I'm Dash now.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Nice Mike.
Hey, yeah, well, when you got to run with these guys, you got to invest. If you're going to run with the big dogs on the Straight Off the Pipe podcast, you invest in the best. Yeah, we haven't, Mr. Bloke Franklin, we haven't had the chance to connect. I know I watched the last episode you guys were on. Great job with you and Lars. Good to see somebody from Australia keeping in touch with the Oilers. Years ago, there was a guy that I knew came from Australia that was playing hockey out there. This is about 20 years ago. And his sole purpose while he was in Edmonton was to buy skates, because he said in Australia they were like $20,000 for a pair of skates. So we got to get you out on skates, but we'll have to send you a pair from. We'll send you a pair. We don't want you taking out a mortgage to buy a pair of skates.
I don't think I'm ever going to be a skater, Mike. I just enjoy watching the game. So yeah, I'm 57 now, so I think I've missed the window of opportunity.
Jeez, what do they got in the water there in Australia? 57, you're looking pretty good. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm well preserved from the alcohol I drink.
Yeah. Well, Durst is pushing retirement age too, so he looks all right. Hey, so I had a bit of a rough night. I watched the game on PVR, but I went and played. I had my own hockey game. Went and played. Almost dislocated my shoulder. It's about the size of a watermelon right now. Guy hits me from behind. About 10 minutes left in the third. So, which is all right because I got to go home early and catch up on the game. other than when you're PVRing a game and you're watching, it's 1-0, it's 2-0, and the whole time it's 3-0. You're all you're thinking of is like, I have the power just to kind of skip to the end, right? Yeah. I mean, that's all that goes through my head at that point. So I skimmed through the game. So I can't talk open and honest about everything. I saw the shot totals. I saw some things. I just think, the one thing that, I take from this is we knew the Oilers weren't going to run the table. And in some ways, this was bound to happen eventually. We needed to, the true test of this team and the mettle of this coaching staff is how they respond, right?
100%. I agree with you completely, Mike. That you can't glide through with wins everywhere. You've got to have a loss to work out what you need to do to fix the team, basically. And I believe the team lifted when Jay came in as coach, and for that reason, his job was easier for those first 4 games. But now he's going to have to actually sit down and go, right, what do I need to do to fix this?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious because I caught most of the show tonight, guys, but you didn't talk about lines. This is typically the time when Tippett would take the lines, throw them in the blender. Maybe next game, what we'd see is a full-on onslaught of McDry for, at least the first half of the game. You guys think that Woodcroft has the confidence to keep running with what he's running and just chalk this up as a bad game, some poor energy, or is he going to do the blender thing and follow in the footsteps? Because I think my personal opinion is that's absolutely the wrong move. I mean, you make some odd touches, right? Make some touches. You've seen Pugliarvi's out, so you've got to fool around with the lines a bit, but you don't want to. I don't think you want to make wholesale changes, and I think you still want to run with those three centers down the middle. You guys' thoughts on that? I mean, this is about being ready for the next team, but here's where we see how much different Woodcroft is from Tippett in my mind.
Dirk, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I think having Jesse Pugliarvi out of the lineup, he had to do a little bit of tinkering anyway. I think there is starting to become a little bit of chemistry with Draisaitl and Evander Kane, and Kane's finding a way to still get on the scoreboard. And I think he really likes what he sees out of the third line, with Nuge and Derek Ryan, and McLeod seems to be kind of put a little bit all over the place in the lineup, but I don't know. I think he's probably just going to throw away the game tape a little bit, use a little bit of the first 5 minutes as teachable moments, but kind of write it off, get healthy, and get to Florida and get back after it. I don't really think they can afford to dwell on tonight too much, and I don't really think they should analyze it upside down and sideways and that, because I think it was pretty evident they were fatigued. Little plays that they usually have no trouble making, they weren't making tonight. 10-foot passes weren't where they needed to be, and I think it's just because they didn't have the legs to catch up where they normally were, so everything was a little bit out of sync and snowballed from there. And I don't think either goalie is going to give them a duplicate effort of tonight, I hope.
I sure hope not, yeah.
So, I just move on to Florida and get back on the horse. And, you got a few days off between now and then to kind of get after it again. And then it gets going again. You play Wednesday in Tampa Bay, and you have Thursday and Friday off, and then you play Saturday, Sunday again. So,
I agree completely. I think Jay, in some way, has, I don't know how, has got something out of the third and fourth lines, which has really helped in those last four games before tonight. And he's the only one that knows whether he's going to go the Tippett way and throw the McDry line together again, So.
Yeah, I mean, my concern, right? And this is not a concern. Actually, I shouldn't say it that way, because I believe in Jay Woodcroft. I believe that the deficiencies of Tippett we will not see in Jay Woodcroft. And I think one of those is, let's look at, that one goal was Bouchard, right? Swinging at the puck and missing. Fiala comes down the wing, makes a nice shot, scores the goal. Look, Bouchard's a little bit out of place, doesn't play that well. To me, that's the Tippett exactly in the Tippett template of, I'm going to drop Bouchard down to the third line, or he's going to get less minutes right away. He's going to get 2.5 minutes, right? I'm a believer. I'm a believer in Jay Woodcroft. I believe he's going to come out with relatively the same lineup over the next little while. He's got, some time to, he's got a practice coming up, right? So he can, make a few tweaks, I think, but I think we're going to see three centers. I think we're going to see guys that, had mistakes tonight, be elevated still in the lineup to where they should be, right? That he's going to have the chat on the side, just like you said, Mike. He's going to throw away the game tape, but he's going to talk about those first 5-10 minutes, and he's going to say, look, guys, you got another shot at this, right? Do it right this time. I don't think Tippett, that's not something Tippett was in Tippett's MO, right? Like you never had another shot if you were a young guy, right? But Woodcroft, knowing these guys, and hey, the Benson thing too, I'll put in on that one. Dash was pretty hot over that. He loved that. So did you, Durst. I'm sure you did too, Buck, but loved it all, right? Like, man, this team has to be driven by the young guys with some of the injuries that are out there. Love or hate Duncan Keith. Dash isn't here. We should make this a Duncan Keith love fest without Dash here. But anyway, that's my thought. I'm super excited for to see. In some ways, I never want to see an Oilers loss, but in some ways, I'm excited for what Woodcroft brings to this team. That's different. Right, we've got room. We've got to make some moves, but I'm excited about the next couple of games, and they're not. This wasn't a must win tonight. I don't think. Right, would have been a nice to with the Knights losing. Right, we would have overtaken them, would we not?
Yeah, 1 point back.
Yeah, definitely would have been sitting second.
Yeah, that would have been a beauty, right?
But I think we still have a game in hand, so it's kind of a wash.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is great. What are we? What's our even? Pre-Tippett. I mean, the last 15 games we've won. What 9 4-1 is it? Or maybe it's 10-4-1. But look, this team's in my mind they're on fire. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. Now we just need to kind of win some of those hard-to-win games like Florida and Carolina, and that's where this team will prove its mettle.
Is going 500 in the next 4, a win in your books, Mike?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I think this might be the toughest part of the season for them in a while. And also it's tough based on, just the way the schedule is. But I would, it would have been nice to win tonight, I'll be honest. But it's not going to happen that way all the time. They go out on the road. They play Tampa, Florida. Who's after Carolina? Philly.
That would have to answer that, I think.
Yeah, Philly. So Tampa, Florida, Carolina, they got a little space in between before they play Tampa on Wednesday. I think 500 would be great because those are, 3 of the top teams in the league and then Philadelphia. So you got to win that Philly game and you got to pull 1 win out of the next 3, right? And I'd be happy with that. I mean, nobody's expected to win those games. Right, like those are nice to wins, but three very, very solid teams. So it's good that we got a couple days break though between now and Tampa, and a couple more days between Florida. But Florida and Carolina, if we can win one of those 2, I'd be happy.
Let's win both of them. Easy.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get on the horn. and get that done. We've got some clout. Yeah, with nobody. Yeah. What about you, Mike? What's your thought? You think we can
winning the first game of that road trip would be huge. Just kind of getting momentum on their side, but I mean Tampa is a tough team. If Vasilevsky's in net, it makes for a long night. And then you the first game of the back-to-back is in Florida, and for me, I wish the schedule was the other way around, where you played that first game of the back-to-back in Raleigh, and then St. Petersburg, Florida the next day. But unfortunately, that's not the way it's working out. So I think if you win one of those three, you're in good shape, and then yeah, you pretty much need to win that game in Philadelphia against the Flyers, and then you're coming back 500 on that little roadie, and I think that's a positive thing. Any more points than that is great, but if they can maintain and stay 500 there on that trip, that'll help coming down the stretch.
Yeah. That's exactly the way we need to look at it, right? And I think that you just kind of got to hope that you get the best out of everybody, and you take 500 on a stretch like this. We can't win them all, right? And we've had some real success. Yeah, what I think a good question might be, and we'll hand this one off to Chris. Chris, what do you think Dash would say? Yeah. What would Dash say? Would 500 be? And I mean, feel free to really tell us exactly how you feel Dash would react in this instance.
I think Dash would say if Duncan Keith's playing, definitely 500. Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. I mean, is he not secretly the president of the Duncan Keith fan club?
He is, and he's also the only member of the Duncan Keith fan club.
He is the only member. He's
president, vice president, treasurer.
Yeah. Oh man, he's the guy that lobbied to have him as second star last game, is what I heard. He called up and said that Duncan Keith deserves some credit. Yeah.
We made a lot of saves last game, don't we?
He did. I think that was tweet of the night, wasn't? Somebody tweeted out, this team was missing Duncan Keith in net tonight, and so yeah, I thought that was classic. Oilers fans and hockey fans in general never cease to amaze with their witty comments, and a comedian like yourself, Chris, you got some good competition out here in oil country, right?
Right. So when I'm out there, I sadly all the stuff I've got on hockey doesn't work here in Australia, because I think I'm the only person here that follows it. So.
They're like field hockey. They don't. There's no ice in field hockey.
I'm talking ice hockey.
Yeah. That's right on. Well, I got nothing left to say. I'm glad I could get 2 cents in, and I figured the only way I was going to do that is if Dash accidentally had internet outages. So this was my. I did. He's gonna be right pissed when he goes outside and sees that there's a picture of me snipping the cable on his internet line. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, no, it was fun to. Thanks for tagging me in there, Mike.
Well, thanks for asking. Anything you want to say to end the night there, Chris?
All I want to say is I've got a $50 bet with someone in Fort St. John that the Oilers will finish higher than the Flames by the end of the regular season. And I know the Flames are flying at the moment, but I'm still confident I'm going to win that bet. So, I reckon we'll finish first in the division. The Flames will finish second. I know it doesn't look like it tonight, but we'll bounce back.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Yes.
It's a bold move.
Let's see if it pays off for him.
That's right. Yeah, see if it pays off.
You got any last words, Mr. Hebert?
No, you know what? Happy to be on the show tonight. This is probably the happiest I've been after a 7-3 blowout.
That's just that numb shoulder talking.
Yeah, it's probably the numb shoulder, maybe some of the drugs. Who knows? But no, I got nothing. This is something we were expecting, and it's good to see. We're about to see what Jay Woodcroft is really made of here. And my money says it's everything we hope. That's what I believe. I think he's going to do all the right things.
The next game will be the true test of the coach.
Yeah, Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we gotta score first for once, damn it. That's the one thing I'll put in there.
It's got to the stage where they score the first and maybe the second, and we go, oh, it doesn't matter, we'll bounce back. But it just didn't happen to us.
No, there was no bounce in that. What's the saying the financial saying you said the other day?
Dead cat.
Durst?
Dead cat bounce.
Yeah, there was no. It doesn't. They say a dead cat will bounce even just a little bit if it's thrown from high enough up, but not tonight. Wow. Yeah. Grim way to end in the evening. But,
we just had a cat fight at Ross's house, so there probably is a dead cat there for him to bounce.
That's right. It hits close to home, doesn't it? It's close to home.
The fight is over. They're quiet now.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you guys this one thing. There are thousands of Oilers fans out there right now who have got a Calgary Flames friend that texted them after the game tonight and saying, "How do you like them apples?" Right? Like, that's the only time you hear from your Flames fan friends is, when they got something like that. They never, they can dish it out. They can't take it.
That bet I mentioned just a minute ago. This fella's in Fort St. John, but he's still letting me know that we lost tonight.
Oh, yeah, of course he was. He probably was right on.
I'm in Melbourne. He's in Fort St. John, and he's having a go at me about the Oilers losing and the Flames doing better.
Yeah. I hope they get knocked out early and fast.
I got good news for the network tonight, Michael.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, we know we've made it now because now we're starting to get the porn bots on YouTube.
Comment
in the chats.
I was seeing that. You come here for all the right reasons. You want the X-rated links? Just join us on YouTube. We got them all. Yeah. We'll tell you about heavy hockey.
Yeah, we might lose our PG rating for kids now that they found the site.
I've been blocking users tonight as fast as Niemelainen's hits there. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching. You can check out Michael's podcast on heavy hockey on the YouTube channel as well.
Dash is guest hosting this week. By the way, he's got Connor Hawley and Hernan Salas on, so it should be a good episode.
There you go.
If he's got internet.
Yeah, if he's got internet.
Yeah.
I might be tagging in again. I just get him to get the guests, and then I tag in.
You'll reconnect his line, so he can do the show for you, so you can have a night off, eh?
That's right, yeah.
Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Keep your sticks on the ice. Keep reaching for the stars. Go Oilers, go. Good night from Grand Prairie, Alberta, and you guys can sign off from wherever you are.
In Melbourne, Australia, thanks for having me.
Halifax, Nova Scotia, leading the charge. Part's so anticlimactic right here.
Thanks everybody for tuning in from down under.